Welcome back. Once again, passing on Tom Breen, another show today. Today's gonna be a little different. Today I want to talk about something special. Everything's on everyone's mind, what's going on because of the CV and how it's really wrecking everything in the economy. Okay, so I subscribe to Keep magazine, and they put out a lot of good information. Some of the things on investing, finance, getting out of debt, and so on. But I get another special I pay for as well on things going on with CV, how it's really affecting the economy, how it's affecting everything, from transportation to computers, technology, to some of your investments as well. So I'm going to quickly go through it and give you a quick little recap. And, because, I really believe about in sharing what I know and pass it on to others because what I think I come across is really helpful. It could really help you out in the future, help plan some things in your life because anything in life is about planning. It's not really doing anything just at the spur of the moment because when you do things at the spur of the moment, it could end up you leaving like the Joneses, trying to look rich and be rich, but you're not really rich. So you got to plan things out in life and make things work out for you because that's really the only way you can really get ahead in life. You really got to plan things out and where you're going to be from, next week, a year from now, 10 years, 20, 30 years down the road because a lot of that is planning. And so I'm going to share with you some ideas I get through Kiplinger's magazine and really to help you out to plan for your future. Because this right here is really taking the news. This is the news right now. This is where everything is going. It's all bad news. And I'm not going to share bad news with you. I'm going to share a lot of good information to you to help you make some planning and prepare for things in the future. CV is certain it'll have far reaching effects that'll last years. The way folks live and work, the way businesses run, etc. Many changes will be technological in nature as the virus sparks usage of new products and services. Here's a preview of some of the things that are coming. Tech, even with more of daily life will take place online, an acceleration of a well-established trend. After a period of being forced to work remotely and shop online, consumers and business alike will have a new appreciation for vital online tools. Even former skeptics will embrace online banking, video conferencing, and other web-developed services. Businesses will double down on e-commerce, preparing their websites for higher traffic and orders. Expect an uptick in telehealth services, virtual doctor visits, and other forms of remote tracking that can mitigate the crunch at hospitals and a viral outbreak. But the shift to speedy 5G wireless will slow as network operators deal with the economic fallout from the pandemic and curb the rollout of the service. Key components from China will be in short supply. Many businesses have been counting on 5G to track inventory, monitor factory machinery, and do myriad other data-intensive tasks that require 5G. Look for more federal funding to get Wi-Fi hotspots for at-home education. Advocates are pressing the federal communications to shift some of its money used to connect schools to the internet to connecting kids at home and elsewhere. Federal regulations speed up the widespread adoption of delivery drones, which have been mired by slow-moving regulators. Much red tape will get slashed. Expect federal regulators to speed up the widespread adoption of delivery drones, which have been mired by slow-moving regulators. Much red tape will get slashed. There's an array of use for drones in the pandemic or similar disruption. China has experimented with them to ship food and medicine and disinfect public areas. In the U.S., the focus will be focused on life-saving uses, delivery medicine, and test kits, for example, and expect more drones sold by surveillance and monitoring by police. The global smartphone market will suffer at least for the rest of the year. All smartphone vendors heavily rely on China for device manufacturing. Apple will look harder for manufacturing alternatives to China. Samsung has already withdrawn from China over the past couple of years, moving production to India and Vietnam. Apple will follow suit, eyeing these two countries, plus Taiwan, even nations outside Asia. Other vendors will try to diversify supply chains too. Expect a high priority given the countries that withstand a pandemic or other major disruptive events. There will also be intensive vetting of manufacturers and how they cope with disruptions. The way Beijing covered up the virus outbreak will not do its favors, so it will take time and effort to pull supply chains out of China. The Federal Reserve will use all its firepower to bolster the economy. This includes an open-ended and unlimited quantitative easing program with the purchase of treasuries and other assets designed to keep interest rates low. The Fed's balance sheet has already surpassed its previous peak of $4.5 trillion, will only go up. Expect long-term interest rates to stay below 1% for a while. The Fed will also, for the first time in its history, purchase corporate bonds from investment grade firms while offering bridge loans for as long as 4 years. Companies that tap into the central bank's credit will have delayed payments to preserve cash for up to 6 months, but can't buy back shares or pay dividends. The Fed will also buy corporate debt in its secondary market and U.S. listed ETFs too. The central bank has already expanded existing emergency programs and revived old ones to ease strains in the markets for municipal debt and short term loans, known as the central bank has already expanded existing emergency programs and revived old ones to ease strains in the markets for municipal debt and short term loans, known as commercial paper. Another program allows the Fed to buy security backed by student car and credit card loans with the goal of maintaining steady lines of credit for both individuals and businesses. Uncle Sam is mulling tariff relief for essential healthcare supplies. U.S. tariffs applied to $5 billion of American medical imports from China, a top supplier for everything from face masks and sterile gloves to CT systems. Reducing these barriers may be necessary to step ease U.S. shortages, especially with other countries, including EU nations, starting to restrict exports. The administration also considering a 3 month deferral of some tariff payments. Trade officials have already granted several exemptions for medical goods. Administration officials are negotiating with Beijing behind the scenes, hoping to secure more of the country's output as COVID-19 outbreak recedes. The U.S. would need 3.5 billion masks to cope with a year-long pandemic. Manufacturing. At the same time, efforts to boost domestic production are bearing fruit. The Food and Drug Administration has seen a surge in interest from companies to make masks for healthcare workers. An obstacle for smaller firms, the price for necessary equipment has tripled because of the surge in demand. The FDA is also relaxing rules to allow automakers such as Ford to make ventilators. Note, President Trump hasn't invoked emergency powers available to him under the Defense Production Act, but he's facing increasing pressure to do so. Housing. Freddie and Freddie Mac will give quick relief to renters and homeowners. The government-backed companies will suspend evictions foreclosures for a period of at least 60 days for properties with mortgages backed by them. Financially strapped landlords can defer the loan payments for 90 days. The move could protect 4 million renters from eviction if their landlords ask for their forbearance. Note, Fannie and Freddie bought back half of their multifamily home loans. Homeowners unable to make their payments because of the outbreak can delay them up to a year with no penalties. Plus, the delay in payments won't be reported to credit agencies. That's a key one right there. Investing. Some tips for bond investors from the editors of Kiplinger's Personal Finance. Don't lock yourself in the long-term treasuries with ultra-low yields. The return from these may be sharply negative if the virus panic subsides and rates rebound. Stay away from debt issued by borrowers in hard-hit energy and retail. Municipal bonds still look like sound investments. Their yields have risen relatively to taxable equivalents. Two good choices are the Vanguard tax-exempt ETF and BNY Mellon Muni Bond Infrastructure, a closed-end fund with an attractive yield. Actively managed go anywhere bond funds are ideal for times like this since their managers are free to invest in a wide range of bonds. Some good choices are FPA New Income, Metropolitan West Flexible Income, and Osterweiss Total Return. Among high yield bond funds, we like TCW High Yield, a relatively safe pick. Healthcare. The number of Americans being tested for COVID-19 will only increase. There are plenty of test kits in the pipeline. The number is hard to quantify, but of the 14 companies whose test kits have been received FDA approval, at least two, Thermo Fisher and Abbott Laboratories, say they can ship over 1 million kits per week. That alone will put a significant dent in the problem, as well as test kits from companies such as Cepheid, which can deliver results in less than an hour. However, most Americans who have symptoms still can't get tested for now, with medical professionals generally prioritizing those with the most severe symptoms, plus many items essential for conducting tests remain in short. And testing is only the start. Officials also need to track and isolate the virus, especially says and testing is only the start. Officials also need to track and isolate the virus, experts say, emulating the success of such countries as Singapore and South Korea. Uncle Sam started to make progress on both, working with tech firms to use anonymized sport firm location data to better track those carrying the virus. The government is also taking steps to ease the shortage of hospital beds at many places by starting convention centers and testing is only the start. Officials also need to track and isolate the virus, experts say, emulating the success of such countries as Singapore and South Korea. Uncle Sam started to make progress on both, working with tech firms that use analyzed smartphone location data to better track those carrying the virus. But the US is playing catch up as thousands of new cases emerge daily. Another form of testing that will have to be ramped up to beat COVID 19. Antibody tests, also known as serological tests, will tell if someone has been infected by COVID 19 and may have immunity. These are blood tests, and researchers around the world are racing to develop them. Experts say such tests should be given to as many people as possible since they help identify people who have recovered and are highly likely to be immune and can go back to work. Drugs. Looking for a drug to help treat COVID 19. Several may already exist. The catch, they're old drugs being repurposed to fight the virus since new antiviral treatments likely won't be ready until 2021 at the earliest. That means their efficacy hasn't been approved in standard clinical trials, though they've shown promise in more limited tests. Some medications, maker Gilead has suspended access to the drug initially developed to treat Ebola because of overwhelming interest. Trade shows and conferences are in for a damaging and lengthy shutdown. The big worry for the events industry is the long term impact. Do companies skip events next year and beyond? Do marketers take their money elsewhere for good? Do marketers take their money elsewhere for good? For the future, look to cut rate deals for tickets and trade booths in coming years. Refund policy will be more lenient, even giving full reimbursement to up to 1 day before. Expect improved virtual tools, better live streaming, mobile apps. There'll be lots of digital experimentation. Conferences have shifted on the fly and are holding virtual events. The widespread cancellation sideline many deal making opportunities. The widespread cancellations Some conferences have shifted on the fly and are holding virtual events. The widespread cancellation sideline many deal making opportunities, especially damaging for fledgling firms which often rely on in person connections. The space industry is poised for an abrupt shakeout across many segments. Expect consolidations across the board, including among launch companies, small satellite firms, geospatial firms, etc. Demand will dry up, delays will be common. Many space efforts require huge sums of capital and are very sensitive to downturns. It will be much more difficult to raise needed cash for risky endeavors, including SpaceX and OneWeb's constellation of small satellites to beam internet across the globe. SpaceX needs fat cash fast. OneWeb is preparing to file for bankruptcy. Guns and ammo will continue to surge. They've skyrocketed in recent weeks. Ammo.com, an online ammunition seller, said on May 10th, the day confirmed COVID 19 cases in the U.S. topped $1,000 in sales that soared 276%. Gun stores across the U.S. have reported runs on firearms and long lines. Processing all background checks and other paperwork will be a growing issue. Legal battles are brewing over store closings as governors and mayors decide which businesses are essential. Gun rights advocates say gun stores must stay open. With major sports events on the sidelines losing huge amounts of revenue, NASCAR is holding weekly virtual races for its fans. The exhibition series is a tie-up between the car racing circuit and iRacing, an online racing simulator. Racing those popular drivers control computer-generated cars, competing against each other in a strikingly realistic race, which is shown on TV. Other leagues impacted by the shutdown have tried to ease gaming sports, such as European soccer teams. Other sports are showing simulated video games as well. little bit different, but I want to bring you a little bit more news today on things going on and things that may affect your in some investments because this is really a long-term game, especially when it comes to investing. So, to give you a couple ideas and also for earning passive income, you can make some smart decisions right now. If you haven't, make sure you like this video, subscribe, click the bell for notification. I'll be back again this Friday with another passive income video. Take care, enjoy your week, and stay safe.